Hello, everybody, and welcome to our English class again. This is teacher Mohammed Amin, and in today's lesson, we are going to learn about ecology, okay? The environment, atmosphere, habitats. You don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn and try to understand the most important vocabulary in order to be able to speak about ecology or write about it, an essay or a paragraph. Okay, so we are going to learn the basic vocabulary about ecology and environment. So let's start. This is an introduction to the Unit 7, okay, first baccalaureate class, which is ecology. So let's start. Here are the titles, okay? So first we are going to see what is the environment. We are going to get to know and understand some of the most important vocabulary related to the environment, and then we are going to try to take a look at some problems of the environment. First, we need to know what is the definition of environment. So the environment includes everything around us, living and non-living creatures. Okay? How can we define this? So living creatures, living beings, or biotics, we call them scientifically biotics. Non-living components of the environment are called abiotics. So these are living beings, animals, plants, humans, bacteria. So here, there's a picture here in which you can see, okay, the living beings or the biotics in this presentation of the environment. So this is an environment. And also we have non-living components like soil, like water, like rocks, like fire. So these are non-living, okay? This is the water, there's the sun, okay? Sun, it's a non-living being. We have also, okay, the rocks, okay, inside the water, under the water. We have a rock here, okay, a little rock here. So this is the environment. It is composed or comprised of living creatures and non-living components. There are more, of course, living beings, and there are more non-living components in the environment. So I hope now you get a general idea about what the environment is. Okay, now let's go to some of the most important vocabulary related to the environment. Okay, so related vocabulary. Okay, I need to clear that. So the first one is habitat. Okay, so a definition of habitat. Habitats are those places where species, animals, plants, humans can find food, shelter, protection, and mates. What are mates? Okay, so mates are females or males. For what? It's for reproduction. Okay, so they can make new babies. If male and female make babies of the same species. So this is a habitat. It's a place where the species live. Species are animals, plants, humans, okay? Living beings, okay? Groups of living beings who can find, which can find in which they can find food, shelter, protection, and mate. So for example, the sea is the natural habitat for fish, which means that the sea is the place where fish, okay, as an animal, okay, can find food, shelter, and protection and mates for reproduction. I hope this is clear. So this is a cute illustration for different habitats. Okay, so as you can see here, we have habitat for human beings. Okay, here we have habitat for maybe the camels. This is the desert. Okay, camels or scorpions. Okay, even snakes. And we have also the habitat for most animals, which is the forest. There is the sea, the habitat for fish. Okay, so every living creature has a natural habitat. Okay, in which they can find food, they can find mates for reproduction, and they can find shelter. Okay, protection, if you want. The second term, okay, is species. So, what is a species? Okay, species is a group or category of living beings which have the same characteristics. For example, white lions. Okay, white lions is an example of a species. Squirrels is a species. So, an example we have here, mountain gorillas are an endangered species. Okay? So it's an endangered species. It means that mountain gorillas really face the danger of extinction, of disappearing. Okay? So that's a species. It's a group or a category of living beings. Okay? We have an illustration for that as well. So this is a picture for different species. Okay? Here we have gazelle. Okay? Here we have a crocodile, frogs. Okay? So different species. These are different species. Okay? Ecosystem. Okay, so this is a very important word. It's a very common word when we are talking about common vocabulary when we are talking about ecology or environment in general. You will always you will always encounter this word, ecosystem. So, a definition. An ecosystem is an environment where living and non living things interact with each other. So, they don't just sit there. We don't confuse ecosystem with habitat. Okay, they are close. Okay, close to each other, but they're not the same exactly. So, because habitat is just the place. Okay, as we saw before, a habitat is just the place where different living beings can live. Okay, can find food, shelter, and protection. But the ecosystem is a little bit different. It's about the interaction, okay? It's all about the interaction of different living and non-living beings. It's not only between living beings. So there is an interaction between biotics and abiotics. As the picture shows, this is an illustration of an ecosystem because it's all it's all showing the different relations and different interactions between nature's biotics and abiotics. Okay, so the sun is a non-living component of the environment. It's interacting with the tree, okay, by giving it heat, by giving it the light, okay, and the tree is interacting, or the plants are interacting. There is an interaction between them and the herbivores. Herbivores are animals which eat plants. They do not eat meat. Okay, uh, animals who eat meat are called carnivores. So there's an interaction between carnivores and herbivores, a food interaction, food relation. It's like a food chain, okay? And herbivores also interact with plants by eating them and with the sun by taking the heat. There are also decomposers, bacteria, and microscopic beings. They also interact with herbs and with dead bodies of animals. So this is, I hope now you have a clear understanding of an ecosystem. This is an ecosystem, okay, at work. All right, so here we have our last title is Problems of the Environment. And I chose one of the most common and most known and the most important actually problems of the environment. So here's a list of four of the most important, okay, types of pollution. So we have air pollution or atmosphere pollution. We have the water pollution, rivers, seas, and oceans pollution, okay? Everything that is related to water. We have soil pollution, okay? And we have the noise pollution. Basically, the noise of the streets, cars, and factories, and literally everything that makes noise that is really annoying to hear for humans. So, what are the causes of that pollution, of all those kinds of pollution? We have fuel cars. This is one of the most common problems, most common causes of pollution, of air pollution, fuel cars, because they give off gas and they give off really contaminated and toxic smoke in the air. There is the acid rain, okay? And we have houses trash. Every day, the day-to-day trash that we get rid of in our houses is also considered a cause of pollution because it's getting much bigger in quantity. We have also a very important vocabulary word here, smog. Okay, what is smog? So smog is the toxic smoke from factories. So we have the smoke really when it gets mixed with fog. Okay, we have smog. So mixed fog and smoke, we have smog. Yeah, from factories. Okay, emissions. Emissions from contaminated substances, emissions from nuclear factories and different other types of factories in general, they give off emissions, okay? This smoke is considered an emission and it's toxic and it's contaminated. It means it is dangerous for the health of human beings and the health of animals and their existence. What can we do? Solutions. What can we do to save our environment and therefore save ourselves and other living beings? Okay, here are four of the most important, if you want to say, most practical solutions that we can implement to reduce pollution of the air, of water, of soil, etc. So, the first one is using eco-friendly cars. So what are eco-friendly cars? Of course, it's cars which run with electricity instead of fuel. Okay, it's the opposite of fuel. Okay, as you remember, so fuel gives off emissions. We have smoke. Okay, but electricity don't have any kind of toxic emissions in the nature, in the environment. Two, we have recycling. So, what is recycling? It's technically reusing the glass, metal, plastic, and every material that can be used again, okay? Instead of using new material from the nature, from nature, and from the environment, it's important and it will be more effective to recycle the material that is already used and that we got rid of, like glass, metal, plastic, every kind of material that can be recycled or reused again. Three, we have using public transport. This is very important and it's very effective in protecting the air, okay? It's protecting the air and reducing the pollution of the air. When most people use public transport, they will not use their cars. So it will definitely reduce smoke from cars, okay? And it will therefore help, okay, the air be cleaner. So this is all. So as a little summary, first we talked about, okay, the environment being comprised of living beings and non-living components. We also talked about the habitat being the place where animals and different species can live, find food and shelter. We talked about species, okay, the different species or groups of animals and living beings. We talked about the ecosystem, which is all about the interaction between animals, plants, and also between living beings and non-living components of the environment. We talked about some problems of the environment, most importantly, pollution. Okay, causes of pollution: fuel cars, acid rain, the trash, the smog or smoke emissions from factories and cars. And finally, we talked about 4 practical solutions which we can implement to reduce the pollution of the environment and therefore save ourselves and save other beings' existence. Okay, here is a little exercise here, a production exercise. First, you write 2 sentences expressing 2 types of pollution. Second, write 2 sentences expressing 2 solutions for pollution. 3, give 3 examples of natural habitats. 3 examples of natural habitats. 4, name 5 species of animals. All right, this is the last page of our presentation. I hope you learned some of the new and most relevant vocabulary to the environment and problems of the environment and ecology. And now, hopefully, you will be able to better speak about the environment in English in general. So I hope you are doing fine. Good luck and see you in the next lesson. Take care.